Republican Senator John Kennedy from the great state of Louisiana, member of the Judiciary Committee and now in focus. Great to see you. First of all, your reaction to the prioritizing that's going on right now.
Well, with respect to the IRS, the purpose of the IRS provision in Senator Biden and Senator Manchin's inflation machine bill is to raise money. It's just plain and simple. They're going to unleash the IRS on the American people to raise money. Now, President Biden, of course, says, well, we're only going to unleash the IRS on the wealthy. With respect, if he believes that, he also believes in the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, and that Jimmy Hoffa died of natural causes. I just don't believe that. Point two, let's suppose for the moment, though, Harris, that he's correct. You don't make tax policy, not in a civilized society, on the basis of class warfare. You make tax policy on the basis of sound economic principles. And the third point I would make is that the IRS is not exactly a model of fairness and efficiency. It has a history. The Lois Lerner episode where she targeted conservative organizations.
Yes.
The recent releases, I should say, by someone at the IRS of people's tax returns for political reasons. The fact that I don't know what percentage, a big percentage of IRS agents are still working at home. Their technology is basically two tin cans connected by a string. We have given the IRS billions, I used to be in charge of their budget, billions of dollars to revamp their technology to make it easier for taxpayers. They've wasted every single penny of it.
You know,
I think President Biden's going to live to regret this, and so is Senator Manchin.
Well, and perhaps Speaker Pelosi, since she's willing to put all of the importance of funding police and getting the country right with crime on the back burner while she passes a spending bill that has all of the things in it dealing with the IRS that you just mentioned. I came across this, though, and this seemed rather troubling because I had kind of a heated, well, it was informative and heated back and forth with Senator Manchin over the fact that taxes are coming for Americans, right? And that this IRS buildup was going to be a problem. Well, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen reportedly directed the IRS yesterday not to use new funding to increase the chances of audits of Americans making less than $400,000 a year. That's the exact line I was using with Senator Manchin. He flat out denied that when I asked him. Let's watch. I'm saying Americans, $400,000 and below now are going to be taxed. Their taxes are going to go up.
That's a lie. That is a pure outright lie.
So their taxes are not going to go up?
Not at all.
Taxes not going up, won't be attracting the IRS. Senator Kennedy, your response.
I think it's all a cathedral of lies. I think that according to the Nonpartisan Joint Budget Committee, they don't take sides. The burden of this tax and spend inflation machine that they've just passed is going to fall on every single American. And that includes the IRS provision as well.
Real quickly, we know that there's a criminal division. Can we roll Raymond Arroyo from this program? And he talked about how much ammo. Let's watch.
A 2017 GOA report, that's a government accounting office report, found they have in their possession, the IRS, 5 million rounds of ammo and 5,000 plus weapons.
When you say ammo, what do you mean?
I mean ammunition. I mean guns. I mean the armed agents.
Wait a minute. This is not a metaphor.
No.
Senator.
Well, you have to watch what government officials do, not what they say. All I know is that this recent bill that was passed is going to double the size of the IRS. The IRS will have more agents or soldiers than the entire Israeli army, by some counts, than the entire army of Great Britain. and they're going to be told to go forth, with or without guns, and raise money. I don't think you have to strain to connect the dots.
Wow, I had not seen those size comparisons. That is, and when you look at the talk about Americans and the Second Amendment, you and I could go round and round on this for an hour, but we can't today. I'll bring you back. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm going to ask you to please stick with me for 1 second because I do want to get your reaction to this. Brand new details on the unprecedented and controversial FBI raid on former President Trump's Florida estate. A bombshell reporting now coming from Newsweek. The outlet says an informer within Trump's own circle told the Bureau what documents the former president allegedly had and their location. The Wall Street Journal pretty much matching that reporting as well. And there is speculation now at this hour that the raid was all about presidential records. Republicans are extremely skeptical about that.
I cannot imagine that they are literally looking for something on a Presidential Records Act. There's no way in the world that it's only about that. That would be shocking, stunning, and unprecedented.
And we want to squeeze in this reporting. We have asked the senator to stand by. Griff Jenkins, take it away.
Hey, Harris, let's unpack this just a bit. On Monday, the FBI conducts the most aggressive law enforcement action ever taken against a former president. Here we are, Harris, on Thursday, and it's been complete silence from the DOJ, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and FBI Director Chris Wray, who refuses to address it.
Well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, that's not something that I can talk about, so I'd refer you to the department.
Still have few details, Harris, about what transpired after the now known June meeting between DOJ investigators and Trump lawyers at Mar-a-Lago. What led to Monday's raid? The Newsweek and Wall Street Journal articles suggesting it stems from this informant who presumably played a role in getting U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart, you see here, to sign off on the warrant, which we could soon learn more about, as the Albany Times-Union newspaper and conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch have filed motions to have the warrant released. We are, however, getting more details about what transpired on Monday. Watch.
There were about 30 to 40 FBI agents that I saw, 5 of which were wearing suits. The rest were in cargo pants, masks, and gloves. And they basically had unfettered access to the property. They refused to talk to me.
Now, meanwhile, Republicans on the House Oversight Committee are demanding a briefing from the National Archives and Records Administration. Writing in a letter, the FBI and NARA's behavior towards President Trump deserves an explanation. The seeming weaponization of the federal government against President Biden's political rivals cannot go unchecked. So, where do we stand? As for this briefing, the committee says they want it no later than Wednesday next week. And as far as the warrant release goes, DOJ has until Monday to reply. Harris?
Griff, thank you very much. We want to thank Senator Kennedy for staying with us on this just to get your reaction. And it is.
I've tried to look at this dispassionately, and here's my conclusion. Even in a vacuum, an FBI raid of a former president's home looking for documents to put in the National Archives, particularly when that raid includes rifling, allegedly, through the former First Lady's closet, is extraordinary. But we're not working in a vacuum here. There's a history. The Steele dossier, the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, the Robert Mueller report, the Carter Page prosecution, the Lisa Strzok emails, or the Lisa Page emails, the Peter Strzok emails, the recent whistleblower from an FBI allegations that some agents covered up the Hunter Biden laptop, and I could go on. Given that history, I think many fair-minded Americans are going to say, wait a minute, this looks political. This looks personal. This doesn't look like an aberration. This is beginning to look like a pattern. And for the sake of the integrity of the FBI and the Department of Justice, I think Chris Wray and Merrick Garland need to hold a press conference together. They need to answer all questions as long as it takes. They need to release a copy of the search warrant, and they need to release the evidence and affidavits in support of that search warrant. And so they can assure the American people, if it's accurate, that this isn't personal and this isn't political. But it doesn't look good, Harris.
So that's an interesting point. Answer those questions, come clean for as long as it takes from the DOJ, because it isn't just the rattling of trust that the American people are experiencing right now with that agency and potentially the FBI, but it's also going forward. If Trump were to run for president, is this how it's going to be all over again? And they had better prove from the DOJ that it's not political, as you say. I do want to get to this, because this was also an interesting optic, if you will. Hunter Biden joined President Biden on vacation in South Carolina while the GOP critics back home were going after the FBI for that double standard after the Mar-a-Lago raid. A New York Post op-ed says, so FBI, why no raid of Hunter Biden's house? Quote, no one is above the law unless you're a Democrat. Senator Kennedy.
Nobody is above the law, but nobody is beneath the law. And given the FBI raid, unprecedented, given the history that I talked about, I'm not saying it's true. Only Wray and Garland can clear it up. But there are millions and millions of Americans that are looking at this situation and saying it's personal. And the FBI and the Department of Justice are going to give Trump a fair and impartial firing squad. And that undermines the integrity of two of the most important institutions in American government, the FBI and the Department of Justice, where there are many good people, but they're shooting themselves in the foot. And Director Wray and Attorney General Garland, it looks like they just overreacted, and they need to clear it up, and they need to do it this afternoon, and they need to do it in the longest press conference that God ever put breath in, until people run out of questions.
Senator Kennedy, thank you so very much for being in focus. Good to have you.
You bet.